Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down.
It has been long overdue to expose the truth that the Democrats and Republicans are sucking the life out of America's liberty and usurping our rights at every turn. Now is the time to seize our civil liberties and take back our individual rights. Here on Southern Liberty, we will expose it all. With his musket on his back, the Declaration of Independence in one hand, and the Constitution in the other, here's your host, Roderick Threets.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to this episode of What the Hell here on Southern Liberty, broadcasting from the Bastion of Liberty. I think that's what I'm going to start calling the studio, the Bastion of Liberty, because it seems that we've lost sight of who's what, how's what, when, where, how, upside down, dipsy doodle, all that good stuff. We have forgotten what that looks like. So I think I just need to represent and call the studio the Bastion of Liberty. I mean, if y'all have a different name for it, I mean, I'll definitely take other suggestions. But for right now, it's the Bastion of Liberty. I appreciate y'all coming through this evening and hanging out with us. We gave y'all a little teaser on Friday. I gave y'all a little teaser on Sunday. We're going to be talking about this Senate Bill 686 coming out of the federal legislature called to restrict that. You've heard all the stuff on it. And quite a few of you have sent me inquiries about it, because on Mondays this is how we do these things. So we're gonna spend probably the next hour and a half combing through this bill. We're gonna sit here together and read it word for word, and we're gonna transliterate, and we're gonna do the other things with it. Just make sure before we get started that you share this show with everyone. You share this on your own social medias. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you go ahead and hit your search bar and hit that Southern Liberty. Click that subscribe. Do the same thing for the Chasing Life, Liberty, and Monarchy. Hit them up. One thing I would love for my listeners to do, because we're at a prime spot right now, and a lot of us know we've talked about our statistics and all that, top 5%, top 100 podcasts in the country, all that. We've talked about that. Now I'm asking all of my listeners, if they ever get a chance, to go over to Apple Podcasts, find Southern Liberty, find Chasing Life, Liberty, and Monarchy, right? Find The Experience Today, and leave a review over there. Leave a review on it. You can find the links on my website, roderickthreets.com, and you can go right into the Apple portion of that, and you can put in your little review, etc., etc. I greatly appreciate it. 5 stars if you can. If you want to put 1 star, that's fine too. But I want to be able to boost out the algorithm on the Apple side of things. Get that moving. So, because it seems like everything's starting to gear towards that right now, from what I'm seeing. So we want to definitely keep staying in the spotlight. So we're gonna do the things over there. So just hop over to Apple Podcast and type in Southern Liberty and Chasing Life, Liberty, and Monarchy and The Experience Today, and enter a good old lovely review for us. I greatly appreciate it. The moment has come. Before we get all this stuff out of the way, let's get the distraction out of the way, right? Donald Trump will be arraigned tomorrow morning. No handcuffs. And the typical media circus, the liberal progressive circus, the statist circus. Oh my God, we finally got him. Oh my God. No, you don't. You ain't got nothing. but an empty wet paper bag, and you can't fight your way out of it, even if it was wet right now. You got nothing. You got nothing. Only thing you're doing is boosting Trump's visibility and his presidential caliber. I mean, look, he'll be the first president. Check this out. I'm going to say it before everybody else does. He's going to be the first president of the United States that's ever been indicted for a crime. We can knock that out the way right now. I think it's pretty funny. I think we just beat the libs to the punch. That's fine. Indict him all day. Indict him, arraign him. He'll be the first one indicted and arraigned in our history. We just have to take the gas from him instead of being, look, he's the first and he's still no good. No, boo boo. But anyway, we're done with the distraction. We're here to talk about Senate Bill 686, and again, like I said, we're gonna read right through this thing because this thing is very sinister, and I'm gonna give you my synopsis on top of it after we're done. So pull. So just go ahead and just pull on up your water bottles, your bourbon, whatever you sipping on, the wine, the cognac, whatever, Chardonnay, Merlot. Pinot Noir, whatever you sipping on, go ahead and pull on up. Go ahead and pull on up. Because we're about to get it in. Now, most how these bills are how they're written and structured. So I'm not going to go through the first parts of it because it's definitions. But the one thing I will say that is important, I'm going to mention first in this bill, right, is Section 2. In Section 2 of this bill, it has a definition for foreign adversary, okay? And their definition for foreign adversary means any foreign government or regime determined by the Secretary pursuant of Sections 3 and 5, which we'll get into, to have engaged in a long-term pattern or serious instances of conduct significantly adverse to the national security of the United States or the security and safety of United States persons. Not citizens, persons. That's everything. Everything. I digress. And includes, unless removed by the Secretary pursuant to Section 6, the People's Republic of China, including the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region and the Macau Special Administrative Region. Now, people are wondering, okay, Hong Kong, yeah, part of China. Macau, part of China. But these are special administrative regions. These two regions, Hong Kong and Macau, operate on the one country, two rule principle, right? They're autonomous, right? They're within the country of China, but they're autonomous from China. One country, two rule principle. Also on this list is the Republic of Cuba, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, aka North Korea, the Russian Federation, and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela under the regime of Nicolas Maduro Moros. Now, it's interesting how they put in there the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Right, and I could go into that and what that actually means, but I'm not going to go there right now. That'd be a Saturday show, something I do extra on the side on Patreon or something. But I found it interesting they wrote it that way, even though that is the official name. But we'll let that go. So that part of the bill is very, 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 very important to remember, right? Who these foreign adversaries are. Okay. Now, when they're also talking in the definition here, relevant executive department and agency heads, right? The term relevant executive department and agency head means basically all of the cabinet, the Treasury, Secretary of State, Defense, Attorney General, Homeland Security, United States Trade Rep, DNI, Administrative General Services, the chairman of the FCC, and the heads of other executive departments and agencies as appropriate can be added. Now, they're adding in relevant committees of Congress. Here's where it gets really, really weird in this bill, right? These relevant committees are the committees on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, the Judiciary, Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs, Foreign Relations, Banking, Housing, Urban Affairs, Armed Services, Rules and Administration, and the Select Committee on Intelligence. In the House, it'll be Energy and Commerce, Judiciary, Homeland Security, Oversight and Accountability, Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, House Administration, and Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence of House of Representatives. Now, in this context, when I mention secretary, the secretary means the Secretary of Commerce. Keep this in mind, the Secretary of Commerce. I know some of you are probably already shaking, but here we go. Section 3. Section 3 reads, the Secretary, in consultation with the relevant executive department and agency heads, is authorized to and shall take action to identify, deter, disrupt, prevent, prohibit, investigate, or otherwise mitigate, including by negotiation, entering into, or imposing and enforcing any mitigation measure to address any risk arising from any covered transaction by any person or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Did y'all catch that? This is the first line after the definitions. This is what these people are going to try to do to us. Let me read that again for you. The Secretary, in consultation with the relevant executive department and agency heads, is authorized to and shall take action to identify, deter, disrupt, prevent, prohibit, investigate, or otherwise mitigate, including by negotiating, entering into, or imposing and enforcing any mitigation measure to address any risk arising from any covered transaction by any person or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. The Secretary determines poses an undue, unacceptable risk of sabotage or subversion of the design, integrity, manufacturing, production, distribution, installation, operation, or maintenance of information and communications technology products and services in the United States. Catastrophic, also under these risks, catastrophic effects on security or resilience of the critical infrastructure or digital economy of the United States. Let me repeat that part again. Catastrophic effects on the security or resilience of the critical infrastructure or digital economy of the United States. Interfering in or altering the reported result of a federal election as determined in coordination with the Attorney General, the DNI, the Secretary of Treasury, and the FEC, which is Federal Election Commission, or coercive or criminal activity by a foreign adversary that are designed to undermine democratic processes and institutions or steer policy and regulatory decisions in favor of the strategic objectives of a foreign adversary to determine of the national security of the United States as determined in coordination with the Attorney General, the Director of National Intelligence, the Secretary of Treasury, and the FEC, or otherwise poses an undue or unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States or the safety of United States persons. I know y'all can't believe what I just read. I can't believe what I just read. Right? They literally sat here. They took part of, I remember a couple years ago when me and Miss Kell went over the For the People Act, the HR1 that Pelosi wanted to push so bad and wanted federalized elections. This is one of the provisions in that bill that they're sticking in here. Look, and I'm going to add a commentary and we're going to get back to this, right? After they basically cheated us out of 2020, I don't care if they hear me say this. I don't really care. After they did it, they found out that people knew and figured out how they did it. This is to shut them down. This is to shut people down from trying to find out. Under the guise of, oh, TikTok ban, TikTok ban's bad. No, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than a TikTok ban, people. It's a lot bigger than that. Let's continue on here. Section 4, the Secretary shall identify and refer to the President any covered holding that the Secretary determines in consultation with the relevant executive department and agency heads poses an undue acceptable risk to national security of the United States or security and safety of United States persons. Okay? Actions by the President. Subject to Section 13, with respect to any covered holding, refer to the President under subsection A if the President determines that the covered holding poses an undue or unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States or security and safety of United States persons. The President may take such action as the President considers appropriate to compel divestment of or otherwise mitigate the risk associated with such covered holding to the full extent the covered holding is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States with respect to A, the United States operations, assets, or property of the entity in which the covered holding is held, or any products or services owned, controlled, designed, developed, manufactured, or supplied by the entity or used in the United States, or B, any tangible or intangible assets wherever located are used to support or enable use of the product or software of the entity in the United States, and any data obtained or derived from use of the product or software of the entity of the United States. Now watch this. Wasn't our voting machines manufactured in another country? I digress, though. I'm just putting that out there. I'm just putting this out there. Our voting machines, the Dominion machines, those were manufactured outside of the country. Now, I know those of you are sitting here wondering, a covered holding. What are they talking about when they talk about a holding? So, a holding is an equity interest, a stock, a security, a share, a partnership interest, an interest in a limited liability company, a membership interest, or any participation, right, or other equivalent, however designated, and of any character, and includes without limitation any security convertible into an ownership interest and right, warrant, or option to acquire ownership interest. Now, ICTS covered holding entity means that an entity that owns, controls, manages information, communication technology products, or services, right? Remember the voting machines, right? The voting machines, right, are communication devices. Because I'm staying on the Dominion machines a second, right? Those are on the internet, right? I want y'all to think about this one. Those devices, those machines are on the internet. They weren't supposed to be, right? I digress, though. B, has not less than 1 million United States-based annual active users at any point in time during the year period preceding the date on which this covered holding is referred to the president, or for which more than 1 million units have been sold to persons in the United States before the date on which the covered holding is referred to the president. Now watch this. ICTS covered holdings, right? Now ICTS, right, is information and communications technology products and services. This term means any hardware, software, or other product or service primarily intended to fulfill or enable the function of information or data processing, storage, retrieval, or communication by electronic means, including transmission, storage, and display. Again, right? Again, I'm gonna hit y'all across the head again with the Dominion voting machines, right? I want y'all to think about this. So let's go down a little bit further into this bill here. So under Section 5, the priority information and communications technology areas, and carrying out Sections 3 and 4, the Secretary shall prioritize evaluation of information and communication technology. I want y'all to listen to this part. This is where it really, you thought the election stuff was twisted. Y'all really key in. In carrying out Sections 3 and 4, the Secretary shall prioritize evaluation of information and communication technology products or services used by a party to a covered transaction in a sector designated as critical infrastructure. In Policy Directive 21, which came out in 2013, related to critical infrastructure, security, and resilience. Now, the question is, what is this critical infrastructure? I'm glad you asked. Critical infrastructure is the term given in Section 1016, paragraph E of the USA Patriot Act. Wait. Let me read that again. Hold on. The term critical infrastructure has the meaning given the term in Sections 1016, paragraph E of the USA Patriot Act, aka USA Freedom Act. Also, that was the one that was replaced after the Patriot Act was sunset, right? Which is under Title 42 of the United States Code, right? Watch this. So if we go in and we look at what is critical infrastructure, let's run down through here real quick. We're doing this in real time, people. I don't have cliff notes. You know how I get down. I don't have cliff notes. We ain't doing a cliff notes version. So, the Critical Infrastructures Protection Act of 2001, Congress makes the following findings. The information revolution has transformed the conduct of business and operations of government, as well as the infrastructure relied upon for the defense and national security of the United States. Private business, government, and national security apparatus increasingly depend on an independent network of critical physical and information infrastructures, including telecommunications, energy, financial services, water, and transportation sector. Now, so if we go down under paragraph E, watch this. Paragraph E, the term critical infrastructure means systems and assets, whether physical or virtual, so vital to the United States that the incapacity or destruction of such systems and assets would have a debilitating impact on security, national economic security, national public health or safety, or any combination of those matters. Let's go back to our let's go back to our lovely bill here. Now that you know what critical infrastructure is, right? Now, let's go on back down here to where we was a second ago, in section 5 down here. You see, yeah, I hope y'all see how this is all coming together. How this is all coming together. Now that we know what this is, right? Part 2 of section 5, paragraph A, part 2. Software, hardware, or any other products or service integral to telecommunication products and services, including wireless local area networks. Wireless local area networks. In other words, the networks in your house. Mobile networks, your phone. Satellite payloads, satellite operations and control, cable access points, wireline access points, core networking systems, long, short, and backhaul networks, and edge computer platforms. Any software, hardware, or any other product or service integral to data hosting or computing service that uses, processes, or retains or is expected to use, process, or retain sensitive personal data with respect to greater than 1 million persons in the United States at any point during the year period preceding the date on which the covered transaction is referred to the Secretary for review, or the Secretary initiates review for the covered transaction, including internet hosting services, cloud-based distributed computing and data storage, machine learning, predictive analysis, data science products. That's talking about AI, basically. Managed services and content delivery services. Skirt! Content delivery services. Scratch all that other stuff a second. Scratch all that other stuff. Right? Let's read that. Let's read that again. Okay? Let's read that whole thing again. Okay? In carrying out sections 3 and 4, the Secretary shall prioritize the evaluation of any software, hardware, or any other product or service integral to data hosting or computer service that uses, possesses, or retains, or is expected to use, process, or retain sensitive personal data with respect to greater than 1 million persons in the United States at any point during the year period preceding the date on which the covered transaction is referred to. The covered transaction, right, would be the social media company itself, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, right, Facebook, right, is referred to the Secretary for review on the Secretary initiates review of the covered transaction, including content delivery services. Social media is a content delivery service. So is YouTube. So is Rumble, right? So is Substack, right? Anything that you can go to that's user created content on, that's including that. All the rest of it doesn't even matter. It's that part. I want y'all to focus on that part. Now, here's what's funny. This also extends to, watch this, unmanned vehicles, including drones and other aerial systems, autonomous and semi-autonomous vehicles, or any other product or service integral to the provision, maintenance, or management of such products or services. Also extending to software designed or used primarily for connecting with and communicating via the internet that is in use by greater than 1 million persons in the United States at any point during the year preceding the date on which the covered transaction is referred to the Secretary for review. Initiates review of the covered transaction, including desktop applications, mobile applications, gaming applications, payment applications, web-based applications, okay, information communications technology products and services integral to artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum key, quantum communications, quantum computing, post-quantum cryptography, autonomous systems, advanced robotics, biotechnology, synthetic biology, computational biology, and e-commerce technology services, including any electronic techniques for accomplishing business transactions, online retail, internet-enabled logistics, internet-enabled payment technology and online marketplaces. So they're basically commandeering the whole damn internet. That includes your Google Play. That includes your what's it called for Apple App Store, right? That includes all that. They're trying to control all of that, the whole thing. Listen to what I'm telling you, right? Even down. This is why they want control of your. That's why they want you to get an electric vehicle, because your electric vehicle, right, has to update via the internet, right? Mm-hmm. As a Tesla owner, every once in a while updates come down, they can control that update. They can shut your car down from satellite, man, because it used the internet. By virtue, they own your shit. Even though you own your shit, they own your shit too. That's why they want to get you in a Tesla. They get you in a Leaf, in a Yaris. Right? They'll shut you down, player. They've already got you locked down already on the PayPal. Right? On PayPal, right? They got you on the Stripe. They got you on the GoFundMe, the Give, Send, Go. They can have your shit shut down immediately for no reason. They can just take your shit from you. Shit you earn, right? These people, these people, these Democrats, and these are Democrats that proposed this bill, right? That's just the tip of the iceberg on this bill. We got to go pay some bills real quick. When we come back, we're going to add a little bit more commentary to the Senate Bill 686. Then we're going to roll out like an Autobot. So y'all already know how it goes down. So do the things. I'll do the things, and get your cheese, wine, and crackers. We'll be back here in 5 on Southern Liberty.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending mixed on the first trading day of the new month and quarter. Shares of energy companies jumping, with Chevron and ExxonMobil leading the charge, getting a boost on surging oil prices after a surprise production cut was announced by Saudi Arabia and its allies. The Dow rising 327 points, the Nasdaq down 32, S&P 500 up 15. And shares of Tesla falling 6% despite the EV maker delivering a record number of vehicles in the first 3 months of the year, when the company slashed prices to fuel demand in a cooling car market. Still, Tesla's delivery figures were lower than Wall Street was expecting. And so much for Illumina's deal to snap up cancer test developer Grail. The Federal Trade Commission has rejected the agreement, saying the move would hurt competition in one of the new frontiers of diagnostic medicine. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
The Fearless and Proud podcast series looks at acts of bravery and strength by women. March is Women's History Month, and in this first season, we look at women who played important roles in the Civil War as soldiers, spies, and nurses. We'll discuss famous examples of women pretending to be men to become soldiers and spies on both sides. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
In New York City, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Donald Trump has returned to his former home ahead of tomorrow's arraignment in Manhattan on charges related to reported hush money payments made on his behalf to porn star Stormy Daniels.
About 24 Trump supporters came out at 11 a.m. They were waiting all day for him to get here. They were very excited. They believe he has not committed a crime and that this is a political prosecution.
Fox's Nate Foy outside Trump Tower. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says the city is prepared for any demonstrations.
As always, we will not allow violence or vandalism of any kind. And if one is caught participating in any act of violence, they will be arrested and held accountable, no matter who you are.
The NYPD says most officers will be in uniform tomorrow. A member of the Navy charged with storming the Capitol on January 6, 2021 was stationed on an aircraft carrier in Virginia when he joined the attack. The FBI arrested David Elizade yesterday in Arlington, Virginia on misdemeanor charges. Elizade told the FBI he was stationed on the USS Harry Truman when he drove from Norfolk, Virginia to Washington, D.C. President Biden with a stop this afternoon at a power generating factory, talking up his plan to boost American manufacturing.
Initiatives like an electrolyzer manufacturing facility near Minneapolis are supporting clean energy and jobs, President Biden says.
You know, we're seeing it as a boom for American innovation, American industry, and it's good for the planet as well.
The president toured the facility in Fridley, Minnesota, to highlight new tax credits for energy and private investments that top $400 billion. It's part of what the White House is calling the Investing in America tour, with officials and cabinet secretaries slated to make stops in 20 states.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. America is listening to Fox News.
Here's what's trending now. You can defer payments of a full NetSuite implementation for 6 months. 33,000 companies have already upgraded to NetSuite, gaining visibility and control over their financials, inventory, HR, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need to reduce manual processes, boost efficiency, build forecasts, and increase productivity. Whether your business generates millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, take advantage of this special financing offer of no payments or interest for 6 months at netsuite.com/Fox. That's netsuite.com/Fox.
The number of migrants entering the U.S. from Mexico claiming asylum is surging, and one particular group is appearing a lot more than in the past.
Fox News witnessing the mass release of Chinese nationals from federal custody at a parking garage in downtown Brownsville. Border Patrol sources telling me these Chinese nationals are largely being released on what are called NTAORs. That is a notice to appear on your own recognizance. Essentially, they are released into the U.S. with a future court date. And the numbers of Chinese continue to skyrocket here at the border. More than 1,700 Chinese nationals apprehended since October 1st. That represents a more than 900% increase over the same time last year.
Fox's Bill Lujan in Eagle Pass, Texas. The WWE will be under new management.
World Wrestling Entertainment, the WWE, has been sold to Endeavor Group, the parent company of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Endeavor will hold a 51% share of the combined company, and WWE shareholders will own 49%. Endeavor's CEO Ariel Emanuel will lead the new company and will continue as CEO of Endeavor. WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon will also have a leadership role. The combined business is valued at $21.4 billion. Janico Sola, Fox News.
There's a report that McDonald's has closed its U.S. offices for a few days as the company prepares to inform corporate employees about layoffs. The Wall Street Journal cited an internal email from the company saying U.S. staff and some corporate employees overseas should work from home while the company notifies people of their job status. The report said McDonald's would inform employees this week about staffing decisions that are part of a wide restructuring announced earlier. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
New from the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Dana Perino. Join me for Season 3 of my limited-time podcast, Everything Will Be Okay, based on my best-selling book of the same name. Make sure you subscribe to this series wherever you download podcasts and leave a rating and review.
Welcome back, Southern Liberty. Appreciate y'all chilling like a villain with me as we go through this Senate Bill 686. Make sure, if you haven't done the things, subscribe, share, all that stuff, make sure you do that. Welcome to all the people that came in right before the break, during the break, and coming in right now. Appreciate y'all coming through. Love all my people that come in the live chat, support the show. Love everybody out there on the public radio spectrum in South Florida and Southeast Georgia and Utah supporting the show. And all my other listeners worldwide that listen, download, all that good stuff. I appreciate y'all too, man. It's because of y'all I do this. It's y'all because I do this. That's what I say. Because of y'all, I do this. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about the Restrict Act. Those of you that are joining Senate Bill 686, and how sinister it is. It's touching elections. It's touching your personal mobile devices that you purchase, you pay taxes on, and they're still going to control what you see. Sounds like China to me, right? It's like China. I mean, this is a good segue into social credit score, right? I mean, they already do a social credit score for corporations, right? ESG, right? That's all ESG is a social credit score. Right? What's a socially apt thing at the moment? Oh, climate change. Do you support climate change? No? Okay, you're a sucker. Right. This is their easily, these Democrats are kind of usher us into, and some Republicans too. Hey, look. We can't trust near one of them right now. We can't trust any of them. Because they still want to get the check, right? They still want to get the check, right? They get that check, that fat check. But this bill, right, will also kill crypto, right? Because the president and the Secretary of Commerce can use the powers of surveillance, okay, to compel companies to divest, and more pertinently, use it as a weapon to kill crypto, right? Now, as I said before, this bill was designed, right, to ban TikTok, right? But it literally gives power to the Secretary of Commerce openly to spy on the American people, right? Now, some of you are going to ask how are they going to target how are they going to target cryptocurrency, right? So remember when I said at the top part when we was talking about what controlled holding is, right? And how they defined a controlled holding, right? So in other words, let me break that all the way down, right? What they call a controlled holding is a holding with power, whether it's direct or indirect, and whether exercised or not exercised, to determine direct or decide important matters affecting an entity, right? Remember, I read that when we were the entity, right? So if you have a holding in a company, whether it's direct or indirect, I'm going to put y'all in the present tense of this, right? And or has not been exercised, right? This Restrict Act can be used to force you to divest or have you face criminal or civil sanctions, right? Now, you're going to probably ask yourself, how would an indirect holding be determined? Let me show you how not sheist, not in she, right? This thing is, right? Now, a covered holding, remember we went over the covered holding piece, right? The covered holding is a means regardless of how or when such holding was or will be obtained or otherwise come to have been held, a controlling holding held directly or indirectly in an ICTS covered holding entity. Remember when I said that, right? Now, the Act also explains the irrespective of when the holding was obtained. Even if it was obtained in the past, you would fall under the provision of the bill, right? So any company that is even directed, right, by a foreign adversary is also included under that also. But also remember, a holding in those countries can be indirect and they can also be in the past. And in that regard, you will still fall under the act. So in other words, if Vladimir Putin had stock, a 1% stock in TikTok, with Putin being a foreign adversary, they could literally shut down TikTok just based on Putin having holdings within TikTok or within Twitter or within Facebook. Y'all heard what I said, right? Let me repeat myself. Russia, remember, is on the list as a foreign adversary. If Putin owned 1% of any stock in a social media platform, under this act, the United States could literally wipe it off the internet because Putin owns a 1% stake in the company. Or Erdogan owns a 1% stake, or an Assad owns 1% stake in a social media company. They can come in and shut it down and sanction you because of that. These people aren't playing. They're trying to control everything you do. Right? We already understand who the foreign adversaries are, right? And they can add and subtract at will. They can say 1 week, this country's the enemy. This week, this country's not. I'm shocked they listed Iran as a foreign adversary after they wanted to do a nuclear deal with them. I guess our definitions of foreign adversary is different. Is that fair to say, or am I out there on Front Street somewhere? Okay, I digress though. But then, right? This bill also goes on as I had read before, right? And it does not just include holdings and foreign adversaries, but incorporates all of the companies. So if a company, right, had minimal involvement with a Chinese company, let's just say, for example, Torch of Liberty, okay, had involvement in TikTok, right? It would be deemed as circumventing the act, and I have to divest from TikTok. Right? I'd have to divest from TikTok. Now, if there is any attempt to evade or circumvent the application of the act, then you fall short or afoul of the bill. So this doesn't mean just using a VPN, people. People say you're going to do the VPN. No. It's deeper than that. You can change your IP address without a VPN. You can change your IP address without a VPN, people. Right? You can't use blockchain. But you know what? You know what really gets me about this bill, though, and I read it. And this is the part. Besides the election part, you and I think by default, this would be challenged automatically. But y'all know the Constitution. You know. I preach about that document all the damn time, right? I talk about that damn document all the time, right? And there's this pesky old clause in the Constitution, right? Called the ex post facto, right? All right, y'all remember that clause? Many people don't remember that clause in the Constitution. But if I remember correctly, it's those of you, the boys and girls, get your constitutions out. Article 1, Section 9, Clause 3. No ex post facto law shall be passed. What does that mean? Literally, what it means, ex post facto, after the fact. Right? What does that mean? It means that you cannot prosecute someone for something that was lawful before a law was passed. Right? Y'all hear what I'm saying, right? No ex post facto laws shall be passed. This bill, right? They can come back and hit you because of past transactions. So this bill would retroactively apply to take out a person or a company based on past transactions. Everything was lawful until this bill comes into play, and now you're going to be penalized for past transgressions. See, this is what Nazis do. This is what Nazis do. How do I know this? Watch this. Remember the definitions I told you in the bill? D, Section D, paragraph D under Section 2 of this bill, right? Timing is named. Listen at their definition of timing. The term covered transaction includes a current, past, or potential future transaction. Let me read that again. The term covered transaction includes a current, past, or potential future transaction. Now, don't get complacent in thinking this is only this is specifically rated to any form of interaction with foreign adversaries, right? Because remember what I told you what an entity was, right? An entity means, and I'm going to read it directly from the bill. An entity means any of the following, whether established in the United States or outside the United States: a firm, a government, government agency, government department, or government commission, a labor union, a fraternal or social organization, a partnership, a trust, a joint venture, or a corporation. Now we're talking about the cryptocurrency, right? Using the broad definition term that they created in this bill. this is how they're going to go on crypto, right? So let's say that a company uses a node module, whatever, for Ethereum, right? For Ethereum mining in China, right? The bill can be used to spy on you because you're doing that, or even divest the company itself, right? Imagine a company uses, let's say, Bitcoin, right? And the argument can be made that they are engaging in something that is against national security interests in the United States. Then based off of this, they can spy on you or divest your company just based on a suspicion, right? But watch this. Watch this. The establishment, and we've been hearing about the CBDC a lot, right? Right? Not only will they will they rely on the broad sense of that bill, right? Right? But remember that provision I read about protecting the U.S. digital economy? A lot of us out here playing, huh? The U.S. does not have a digital economy yet. But you know they got to cover their bases and cover the CBDC, right? So if the CBDC does come online and becomes a primary currency, it will become, remember the definition of critical infrastructure in that bill I read you? Here's where we are. So it means that any alternative digital currency, such as crypto, would be considered a threat to the resilience of the critical infrastructure of the United States. Which would then literally ban crypto. It would ban crypto altogether. This bill is sinister. And you know, the thing is, I wouldn't expect anything less from Democrats and some Republicans. But Democrats, it doesn't shock me it comes out of Democrats' mouth or what they put down on paper. Like they had already had this all thought out. So I would advise calling your senators. I'd get on the phone with any and everybody, your governor. Look, they can go digital all day long. But I'm going to tell you right now, from what I've been reading, and I'm not an economist by far. Y'all know that I don't ever talk about economics. Because I'm not illiterate, but it's not my wheelhouse, right? So I don't speak on it. But I know there is gold currency banks going up around the world right now. I know that. I've read that. And I know what that means. I know exactly what that means. Gold is going to undermine everything. Gold is going to trump everything. No matter what they're doing, gold is going to trump everything if they got gold in reserve. Really any precious metal, silver even, will trump any of this currency they're trying to create and backed by a natural resource like oil. Because that's what the BRICS reserve currency is going to be. It's backed by oil, right? All the OPEC countries are basically part of or affiliated with BRICS or will become BRICS plus, right? We're in for a long ride, people. You know what I'm telling you, there's some things I despise, about oh dear Democrats and Republicans as a whole, but this right here, and knowing what this guy's doing, he knows what he's doing. This guy the guy that authored this bill knows exactly what he's doing. Mark Warner out of Virginia, we know exactly what he's doing. We know exactly what he's up to. Right? Him and his friends. I'm shocked that Joe Manchin jumped on board. But then again, look, you know, the names that co-sponsored this bill, right? Thune, Baldwin, Fisher, Manchin, Moran, Bennett, Sullivan, Gillibrand, Collins, Heinrich, Romney, and Capito. Those are the co-sponsors for that bill. I hope y'all take a read through that Restrict Act and kind of take in consideration what I've said and understand the dire situation that they're trying to put us in, from elections to what we do with our mobile phones, right? Oh no, your phone is a threat to national security. No, we just exposed your bullshit. That's all. That's all. And the whole world knows that the American people are smarter than you. So, honestly, that's my second honest opinion about this. And I've had a lot of opinions like this, but really, you know what it is? It's not, the control aspect is number one, but in a close second, the American people are smarter than our federal politicians, right? We know how to find the information we're looking for, how to expose it, and they don't like it. They want to control the flow of information so it makes them look good, look great. See, here's the thing. People like us, liberty defenders, we make them look stupid. We make them look stupid because we get the information, we get the truth out there before they even scramble to create a narrative. Like, here's the truth. It's right here. There's nothing more to add. That's it. Right? That's how we roll. That's how we roll. They got to control that, right? They got to control that. They got to control that information because they're tired of being made a fool. But they make a fool of their own selves when they try to undermine us when we pay their paychecks. Hey, we got to roll out, do the things. Hey, I appreciate y'all. I'll make sure y'all come through tomorrow evening for the experience today at me and Ms. Val. And as I always say, I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'll find out tomorrow. She loves when I say that, so I tease her all the time about that. But it's all good though. Like I say, read through Senate Bill 686. Come with your own determination. Let me know. Let me know what you come up with, or if something I kind of missed or I should have emphasized on more. Let me know. I'll be glad to go through it over it with you, etc. Talk about it. Until next time, y'all. Life, liberty, and happiness. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Southern Liberty Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on social media. Subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.bpmg.us, or leave a rating and review on iTunes. To catch all the latest from Roderick, you can follow him on social media at manofjustice007. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.